up a record, and now there you go. So I am using a Fabriano white paper, artistico 90 pound, rough surface, cold press. Please make sure if you're working on a smaller scale, use a 90-pound paper. I will discuss this in other videos, why it's so important to work with the on a smaller scale painting with a less weighted paper like 90 pound. All right, you can use 120 pound, it's up to you if you want to pay more money, but 90-pound paper will work beautiful. So as you can see, I put some water. Actually, why I put some water on the sky, because I like to get a nice and even washes. I don't want any hard edges, no dry brush marks. I hope you guys understand what is soft edges and hard edges. If you have you think you don't understand, you can watch my other videos about the watercolor, what is the hard edge and the soft edges. So right now I'm working mostly in this painting as wet into wet, and my mix for the sky is a cobalt blue and a cerulean blue. So just to quickly explain, people get confused with the why I use cobalt blue and a cerulean blue, because the cerulean blue is a green shade which is a cooler blue, and a cobalt blue or ultramarine blue has a red shade on it, so they are more tend to the what do you call, the warmer blue. So people in general in generally people think, okay, blue is a cool color, so keep it on the side regardless. Cerulean blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, French ultramarine blue, or the cool blues are Prussian blue, phthalo blue, and the turquoise, teal. They all the family of the cooler blues. Anyway, so you can see on my painting I put cerulean blue. Now I use a little bit yellow ochre to bring some background hills. That's what I'm trying to do now. I put a little bit more yellow ochre mixed with the burnt umber, so I can get a little bit darker tone of the hills. Same wash I use on the foreground. Now you can see I didn't put any water because I need some dry brush marks here, and I will show you how to use those dry brush marks. I purposely not using any I'm not putting any white, I mean like the water on that paper, so you can see it's like it's all dry, and leaves on the middle of the ground. You can see that there's some white. I purposely leave it, which is yeah, intentionally I left it so I can use for anything in the future, like when the painting is dry. And here I lift some paint, I put some more burnt umber, and I'm lifting some paint which is I put too much, and I need some kind of highlight because I'm assuming in this painting the light is coming from the right side. And here I put some more actually this is a mix of cobalt blue and burnt sienna, so as you see that it's so black. Try to get some depth into the mountains where the light is not exposed to the light, and there's the cavities in the hills, so it becomes darker, and where is not exposed you see that it has a light surface. That's what I'm doing right now. So if you have any question, please put in comments, and I will be happy to answer your question in later times. But right now this is what's happening. A seascape with no reference. I have no reference, and I'm just working with my own idea, like what needs to be done, and that kind of a watercolor. And watercolor is so good, actually. You don't need, just plan a little bit, and you can do your own watercolor. You don't need a reference. You don't need to you know, get a picture from here, there. Just do on your own. And yeah, so I'm lifting some colors as I did with the paper, and now I'm trying to get a nice light coming from the right side so I can get some kind of a depth into these mountains. Okay, let's see. Am I gonna take some time here, because these mountains need a little bit more attention to get the depth, to create the depth into it. And yeah, I'll keep lifting the color. What I do, actually, I clean my brush and I dry brush, and then you lift the color. As long as the paper is wet and the color is still moist, you have a chance to lift the color. Or otherwise, you can just put a little bit of water when the wash is dry. Depends on the pigment. If it is a synthetic pigment you use, it's very hard for you to lift from the paper, but most of the time works. You, even though the wash is dry, you can just put some water and you can what you can do, you can just scrape it, and the color will be get into your brush. If you use a harder brush, not the soft brush, has to be a little bit harder. But be careful when you're lifting the colors. You have to make sure that you don't want to damage the surface of the paper, especially if you're using a 90-pound paper. If you're using a 120-pound paper or 300-pound paper, then you be okay. Like, you can abuse the paper a little bit, but in the case of 90-pound, I would be a little bit careful. So now I'm putting some energy marks, because these are mountains. These are all organic shape. There's no geometry or any squares or any circles are there. I'm just doing it randomly, putting some energy marks here and there, bring some drama to in the background in the mountain. Right now, this is another one I just did I can you know, it looks so boring. So just one range of mountains going on all the way to the right side. So what I did, I put a little bit in the background. There's another range behind these mountains. So just to get rid of this boring part of this one extension of the mountain. All right. As you can see, the skies are pretty much dry because I put a water, and I didn't put pigment on the white of the paper, right? So what happened? It automatically become a nice cloud effect. I didn't do nothing. All I did, put a water, mix my cerulean blue and a cobalt blue right on the paper, and I didn't take my brush to that part of the paper, and I left it as is, and I think it's almost dry now. Also depends on the room temperature where you're working. Somewhere, if you're working is too dry, your paper and your pigment will dry quickly. But if you're working in a moist place where there's a lot of moisture in the room, then you might see that it takes a little bit more time to dry the paper. So just to be careful, if you are working not in a studio and you're working somewhere else, you have to be careful. You may want to make sure. Sometimes artists get confused that why my paper is not drying, because the moisture in the room where they're working. Okay, almost there with the mountain. The watercolor is get lighter as it dry because it's a mix of the water and some pigment. Once the water evaporate, it become lighter. So that's why I go back and forth and back and forth, try to put a more dark value, so to create some more depth into the to that mountains. All right, still keep going, keep going. Finally, I think it should be okay, but let me do some more tweaking here and there. I can go back later on, but what happened, the reason I'm spending so much time here, because it's still wet, so I have a chance to now. Okay, it's done now. I have a cerulean blue and a little bit cobalt blue. I put it now. I'm using, not putting any water on the paper, so I need, because I need some sparkle on the water, right? So what I did, I very gently, I'm dragging my brush on the paper. So what it happened, it leaves some dry brush mark, which creates some kind of a the sparkle effect on the paper, which it shows that there's a wave and there's a sun coming from the right side, which is, we are assuming the light is from the right side. It creates some kind of a sparkle, so on the paper, without going back putting a sparkle on the paper with the opaque white. And I put a little bit darker brown, which I had it in my brush from the mountain. I'm just putting in, so it feel like the water, the waves which dying down on the shore has some kind of a mass, so it shows that they are feel like a 3D, or there's some depth. I create some depth by just putting a little bit dark value in there. Now I'm putting a little bit dark shadow into the water, which is coming from the mountain. And yeah, it's make a water a little bit black. You don't need to explain too much. If this is a steady water, then you can create some more intense type of shadow. But since it's a more choppy, more like a wavy water, so you don't see a lot of shadow in the water. Just I'm putting here and there, create some kind of a shadow created from the mountain. That's all. Okay, put some more dark color. This time is a very dark type of Prussian blue. I put it, create some more variation in water. Now this is a French Ultramarine I put in. So because of the distant water, it has a more dark value. It looks more darker. And yeah, and the closest one that is close to us is more lighter, more greener, because the green, why the water get green? Because of the sand underneath. The sand is brown and water has a little bit green color, so it turned into a green type of dark, little bit green color, very fresh type of green color. All right, I'm keep working on the water, putting some dark values underneath where it needed, especially under the waves. Very small waves. They're not a very big waves. So not a very choppy water. It's just a, I would say, semi type of waves are coming and die down on the shore. So it's not very like heavy type of waves. So yeah, keep working on it. Try to make the water has more depth into it. Well, the paper is still wet. As you can see, there's no dry brush marks now. Okay, now this is the time I have to do some doodling on that paper. Okay, I'm not satisfied with the location of the board. It's very important how you compose your painting. So that part wasn't very appealing for me, so I just erased it, and now I'm working on this side of the, and it's more drier actually. That part of the painting is a little bit dry, and here I use a little bit cadmium red mixed with the burnt sienna and cadmium yellow, so I have a nice color. And as you can see, the end of the board on the right side, I purposely left some light color, so which is the color of the ground, like where this is the ground color, but I left it a little bit there so I can play with the light later on. Now I cast the shadow, although as I see the light is coming from the right side. Alright, I'm using my dagger brush. It's a 5x6 dagger brush from Rosemary and Co. It works really good only when you are working with the smaller doodling. So it's a very short handle, 5x6. It's a sable blend. It has some synthetic here and some I think there's some natural here and there. I'm not sure what type of natural here, but it is from Rosemary and Co. It's a 5x6. It's the best brush for doing a small work because it has a little bit flat edge at one side and there's a very sharp edge on the other side. That's why they call a dagger brush. So I'm treating the water a little bit more with the cerulean blue. Get some more out of the water. Now in the foreground, it's time for the doodling. Same brush with the edge of that brush, and I use some burnt umber mixed with the ultramarine blue, some dark brown color. If you mix a brown color, right, brown color or burnt sienna, whatever you call that, it's basically a mix of, it's a dark orange color. So when you mix your cadmium yellow and cadmium red, you get a nice orange color. But as soon as you put a little bit ultramarine blue or cobalt blue in it, a little bit, and it turned into a light gray color. But as soon as you put more ultramarine blue or cobalt blue, what happened? It becomes a nice dark gray color because there's more blue in it, right? If you put some more cadmium red, it turned into a dark brown color. So a lot of people ask me, they said, oh, but we see someone was telling us it get a dark brown color. Yes, it's not a problem. You can get a dark brown color if you push more cadmium red in there or the cadmium yellow. You get a dark brown color. Of course, more brown or red color, it will turn into a dark, like a sepia color or burnt umber. But as soon as you put more blue color, it will turn into a dark, like very nice sweet gray color. So that's what happened. Don't be panic with like you saw somewhere that is a brown color and now I'm telling you it's a gray color. It's all about the how much amount of color that you are adding. What's the proportion of the colors you have on the three mix, yellow, red and blue. So if you have more blue, you get a grayish, blue grayish. If you have more red, you'll get a nice dark brown. And if you have more yellow in it, you'll get like a yellow ochre type of brown. So here I'm putting some spatter on the foreground. I just put a ultramarine blue, create some shadow, like maybe a boat, which is not in a scene, but they're creating a shadow. The reason putting a dark value in the foreground is to bring more contrast to your painting. So you see the mountains are dark, right? The sky is a lot, mountain is dark. Now water is in the middle, the mid-ground, right? The mid-ground is light, there's no dark. So what I did, I intentionally put a mix of ultramarine blue and some burnt umber, burnt sienna, mix it up with a gray color, and I put it so it bring more contrast to your painting. If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. You want to make it we keep the painting more lighter, more softer, so you don't need to put that dark value in the foreground. I did, and I usually I do. I need to see more contrast in my painting. So there you go. I'm working on the board now. I have a nice thick, less water, the mix of three, yellow, red, and blue. So you can see it's a kind of a dark color, which is either it's a gray or dark brown. So now I put a rope, and very important, always put that shadow underneath the rope, because it creates an illusion of a depth. It creates the illusion of like a 3D. That's how you explain and interpret your painting, that this rope is not sitting on the ground itself, it's just coming out of the board, and it goes on the ground a little bit further back. So that's how you tell your audience, whoever see your painting, that the rope is hanging actually from the board until it hit the ground. So you can see the shadow, it's touched the rope at one end, and it goes under the board, and where the shadow is on the board, it goes like a round, not straight. If the board is a flat surface, it will be a flat shadow, but since the board has a round shape, so it goes round and it die down where the board edge is on the bottom. So very important thing you have to keep in mind when you are working on that type of painting, like a landscape or cityscape. So those are the things it create little drama in your painting. It gives you more depth into your painting instead of looking like something is missing. So now keep working on the board. I have a dark color. Now I use a little bit white color, opaque white. You can say the poster color. Any white color would work, a wash or anything you have which is opaque white, very very dense color, so you can create some highlights, which I didn't do anything in the first place. Now this is the time everything is dry, my painting is almost done, so I bring some the white color, and I am working with the white color, putting some highlight. There's stones. You can do so much, but I wouldn't recommend that. Don't get involved too much with this white, and otherwise the painting will look overdue. So I am doing something now. I have white. I'm putting on a rope which is hanging from the mast of the board, and here at the edge of the board, and there you go. This is the trim of the board. Is basically when you do those things, it creates the depth, and your painting will look beautiful. Now I drag my brush. I put some more white on the stones in the foreground. So you can see I had no any type of reference for this painting. Because I did a lot of board painting initially when I start watercolor and painting, so I like to draw the boards. So and that's how I remember how to draw the boards, how to make a seascape, a simple seascape. You don't want to make it too complicated. So and you learn how to lay down the washes, how much water has to be on the paper, where you need a soft edges, where you need a hard edges. This is all learning. Keep it simple, don't make it too complicated, otherwise what happens, you wouldn't be not learning, you're copying, and you get bored, because if at the end if that painting won't come out good, you'll be wasting your time, energy, and trust me, it doesn't feel very good. I had the same situation when I was learning. I run around, ask people, hey, how do you do, what to do, what type of color. So I know it's kind of a puzzle for you, right? But trust me, just keep it simple. Use minimum colors. You don't want to go pick up like army of color or army of brushes or paper or Just get a 90-pound paper, cut it like a small pieces. Get a big sheet, 20 by 30 sheet, 22 by 30 sheet, and cut it in a small papers, small pieces, and just work on those small pieces and see how the paper works, right? Like, you will know the chemistry of paper, the chemistry of the watercolor, how to do certain tricks and on the paper, how the paper react when you put too much water in it. So yes, that type of stuff. All right. Okay, and the painting is almost done. I put another flag there because I had some dark gray colors, so just to bring some more drama, more kind of excitement in the painting. Keep going. I'm trying to make it the sea edge where the ocean is ending underneath the hills. Maybe there's a cavity there, so I'm putting a little bit dark value with my mix of cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and a cadmium ultramarine blue. So get some kind of depth there. I'm making more darker the casting shadow, put some dark value underneath the board. Basically the painting is done. Actually, I'm just enjoying myself, putting a little bit dark value. Since I have a little bit in my brush, so I use it. I try to use it. Don't go let the paint waste. Now it's time to do some bird, as it is a seascape, so we have to put some seagulls here. Remember, never put anything white if you're doing it on a white surface, otherwise it won't show. If you putting these birds on a dark surface, it will show right away. See, I'm trying to put in the sky, but it doesn't show. As you can see, I put two birds in there and it doesn't show. Now I'm putting on the dark water, a little bit dark blue water, it shows. And most it shows is on the hill where the dark burnt umber mix is there. So now I'm putting a little bit more birdies on the seagulls on the shore. They're sitting there. You don't need to define exactly what the seagull look like. Just put a small circle and that's it. That's all you need. And now I'm dragging my brush because I have extra paint in my brush. I don't want to waste. I put a little bit on the edge of that wave at the shore. Now I'm working again. Now I'm putting a little bit dark value underneath the seagull, a little dark color. Which what happened? It gives a little bit depth into your bird. That because of the light coming from the top of the body is lit up, but the underneath the wings and the body has a little bit dark color, so it gives more depth to your the object you try to paint, in the helping the painting that it looks like a 3D, or has more depth into it. Okay, so the painting is almost done. I'm putting a little bit more dark value. I'm playing and I'm enjoying my painting. It's all done. Thank you.